Welcome into today's episode of Chicago Bears Now. I am your host, Harrison Graham. Training camp's underway. We got the latest on Trubisky versus Foles later on the show, so stick around for that. But first, let's talk about another quarterback in the NFC North. That is one Aaron Rodgers, who has spoken a lot recently and joined Kyle Brandt's podcast, a renowned Bears fan, by the way, and said, look, I don't really expect to finish my career or even my current contract with the Green Bay Packers. Obviously, the Pack took Jordan Love in the first round of this year's draft, which surprised many, including Aaron Rodgers. But he understands how this works, and a lot of people believe that the 2020 season could be his last season in Green Bay, which would be to the delight of many Chicago Bears fans. Here was a quote from him on Brandt's podcast saying, I think that's probably what happens. That meaning that the Packers move on from Rodgers. You know, based on just the circumstances around everything, when you just look at the facts, they traded up. They drafted him. I would say they like him. They want to play him. And I want to take a couple extra seconds on this. You notice anything in that quote? A lot of referring to the Packers, the organization that he's been a part of for 15 years or so, as they, not we. That's significant to me. I think he knows that the end is near for his time in Green Bay. Now, the Bears have been tormented by this guy for a long time. 5-18 record against Rodgers over the years. He has just torched Chicago consistently. You guys see the numbers. 18-5 against Chicago. The completion percentage, the yards, the touchdowns, the rating. It's just been brutal having to face this guy for the last decade plus in the NFC North, but it could be finally coming to an end after this season. More on this in just a second, but first, I want to invite you to join the Noti Gang. It's the best gang on YouTube. Hit that. Here's what you got to do first before you hit the bell. You got to be subscribed first. So if you haven't done that, hit the subscribe button. But once you do, click that notification bell. It's right next to the subscribe button. Then it's going to give you an option, select all. That way, you never miss a video, especially when you're on your phone. You do those steps, videos are going to come straight to your phone as soon as we publish them on the channel. So join the Noti Gang. Only like 18% of you have notifications turned on. Let's increase that number so you never, ever miss a video. Now, from a Bears perspective, in terms of how, could he possibly join the Bears or something like that, Brandt asked him, I mentioned Brandt is a Bears fan, basically asked him, look, would you ever consider playing for the Bears? And he said, oh, man, that's a tough thought right there. Which it is, right? I mean, probably the biggest rivalry in the NFL. That would be a weird thing for Aaron Rodgers to leave Green Bay and to come play for the Chicago Bears. But it's something worth mentioning, right? Because the Bears don't have a long-term answer at quarterback. Not that Rodgers would be that, but he would be the best quarterback they've ever had in franchise history. You could bring him in here for a couple of years. It's at least intriguing, right? I know a lot of you guys would say, oh, we could never go there. You're telling me today you would not take Aaron Rodgers over Mitchell Trubisky or Nick Foles. I don't believe you. Let's put you on a lie detector test, and I'll ask you that same question. I bet it comes back false because, come on, guys. You wouldn't take Rodgers on the Bears? I'll make this the pinned comment. Would you want Aaron Rodgers on the Bears? Type Y for yes, type N for no. Reply to the pinned comment on today's video. All right, next story here. How about signing Brian Winters? Another veteran guard has hit the free agent market as the Jets somewhat surprisingly let him go. He did have a decent cap hit there, so kind of does make some sense. Was set to make like $7.9 million up in New York this year, but you can sign him, bring him in for $3-4 million. Why not, right? Like Larry Warford said he's not playing this year, so you can't go sign him. But I keep saying it, guys. The Bears need to get better at right guard. And while Brian Winters isn't great, he's an average to above average starting caliber guard. I don't know that the Bears have that at right guard right now. So that's significant. You look at his past 4 years, did miss some time with injury last year, only had 9 starts, only gave up the 1 sack in those 9 starts. The 2 seasons before that did give up 5 sacks, only gave up 2 back in 2016. Again, he's not awesome, but he's serviceable. He's a starting caliber player. Is Rashad Coward a starting caliber right guard? I don't really think so. I think we saw that last year. Jermaine Ifedi's set to compete there as well. Could be set to be the swing tackle also. He's been mostly a bust at right tackle in his NFL career. Is he just going to switch to right guard and figure things out? Maybe, but you know what Brian Winters is, and that's a serviceable starting player. So if you could get him for cheap on a 1-year deal, why not explore it? I still am going to type my S for sign because I believe the Bears need to sign a guard. Do you? If you do, type S for sign or type D for don't. If you think they're just ready to roll with what they got, type D, but I just don't really see it that way. I think the Bears need to bring a guard on board. Now, today's deal is Chicago Bears jerseys up to 25% off, including this Trubisky one at chatsports.com/Bears jerseys. Lots of different players available, lots of different colors as well. I'll put the link in the comments and in the description, chatsports.com/Bears jerseys. This Robinson one is $74.99 right now, as are most of these, and a lot of these on the catalog as well. Once you go to that link, get some all-time greats in there also. You got Walter Payton, you got Brian Urlacher, tons of jerseys up to 25% off. These deals don't last forever. Go to chatsports.com/Bears jerseys. Again, that link will be in the comments. It'll also be in the description. All right, a little news item here. Artavis Pierce has been activated from the COVID-19 reserve list, the UDFA running back out of Oregon State, who we've spent some time talking about here on Chicago Bears Now. He's good to go. He's on the 80-man roster. The Bears have released Napoleon Maxwell in a corresponding mood. If you guys watched my cut candidates video to get down to 80 players, you would know that I had Napoleon Maxwell as a cut candidate because I think Pierce is higher on the pecking order. That obviously proved to be true. So out goes Napoleon Maxwell. In comes Artavis Pierce, who I think has a legitimate shot to make this roster because the Bears have not brought in another running back. I like what I saw from him at Oregon State this past year at 6 yards per carry, 875 yards or so on limited touches. He's a pretty decent player in the passing game as well. I would have liked to see what Maxwell could have brought to the table in training camp, but you had to cut somebody. You got to get down to 80 players by, I believe, August 16th or something like that. He wasn't going to make the team. Maybe he's a practice squad candidate down the road. We will just have to wait and see, but he's more of that bruising running back. The Bears like to have those guys who can catch the football as well. But this is kind of what you're left with. David Montgomery, Tariq Cohen, Artavis Pierce, and Ryan Nall, who's kind of that running back, fullback hybrid. I know a lot of you guys like him because he's a preseason legend. I actually think all four of these guys probably make the roster. I think there's a pretty good chance, including Artavis Pierce. I think he makes this football team if they don't bring in a veteran running back, and at this point, I don't really think they will. So type 1 for yes, type 2 for no. Will Artavis Pierce make the 53-man roster? I think he does. I'm going to type my 1 for yes. I think the Oregon State UDFA is a part of this football team in 2020. Now, if you aren't already subscribed to the channel, I told you guys to do so earlier and join the Noti Gang. But look, I want to show you guys what we do here at Chicago Bears Now. We have the latest news and rumors, including breaking news when Eddie Goldman opted out. This video was up on the channel within like an hour of that news breaking. We're going to keep you guys updated throughout training camp. I had this video go up a couple of weeks ago of top 5 training camp battles to watch. Check that out if you haven't already. Now that training camp is underway. We got mailbags. Use hashtag Bears in the comments section to get your questions on our weekly Q&As. All kinds of stuff. Hit that big red subscribe button. YouTube.com/Bears Now. That's the link. You share that with a Bears buddy. You continue to grow the channel here on Chicago Bears Now. And speaking of the quarterback competition, it is finally officially underway. The Bears coaches maintained all offseason. We're not starting this thing on Zoom. We're not starting this thing virtually. Well, the Bears have taken the practice field. Now it's walkthroughs, it's conditioning stuff right now. But they have been out on the gridiron, kind of, going through some plays, doing some different things. Obviously, pads don't go on for another, I want to say 10 days or so before it really ramps up. But we have started here. It is officially here. Foles versus Trubisky season is here. So it's exciting. Foles is excited. Says he loves competitions. Trubisky's motivated to prove that he can be the guy for 2020 and moving forward. So this will be probably the most interesting training camp battle in all of the NFL this year. I'm certainly intrigued to watch it play out. Here's Nick Foles in the competition saying, I love competitions, but sometimes competition, if you approach them the wrong way, become very toxic for a team and an organization because it becomes about me and not about the team. So the hardest thing is, how do I make it about the team and enjoy it in the quarterback's room when I'm competing with guys? What I've always liked about Nick Foles, team first guy, he's not going to cause problems in the locker room, and that's basically what he is saying there. Wanted to ask you guys this quick question because we're about to sign off here in just about a minute or so. What is your favorite TV show? Let me know in the comments. I'm curious how many of you guys made it this far in the video. So if you're still here or still watching, let me know what your favorite TV show is. Here's Trubisky on the quarterback competition. You're always going to have people writing you off. It's got to light a fire under you, which it has for me. I'm just trying to prove everybody wrong and prove my teammates right. Lots of teammates been defending him this offseason, so I'm definitely fired up, but you've got to make it happen. So this thing is underway. It'll really ramp up once pads go on, but look, with no preseason games, this Bears coaching staff, every snap these guys take in training camp are going to factor into who the week 1 starter is. I think Trubisky's got the edge due to a lack of preseason limited offseason. We'll see who ends up winning it in the end. No one's going to keep you more up to date than I will here on Bears Now. So again, subscribe and turn on notifications.